I meant to start recording right when I woke up, but you kind of get into like this routine and you just forget to do all the things. But work today, I'm at this Christian school. I got to call this guy to see if I'm in the right spot, and hopefully I don't have to drag my equipment up a flight of stairs, which I'm afraid I might have to do. We'll see. Okay, so it does have to go to a second floor. It's a small elevator, but it's all gonna fit, just barely. So it's kind of a tight fit, and we have to fit another one of these units in here. It's been a little bit of a confusing morning, and I will talk about that later. Okie dokie. Alright. This freaking pole sucks, dude. I ain't gonna bullshit. Okay. So yeah, there it is. Another successful day in the bag. Heading out the door at like 11 something. So to explain what happened this morning, here's the thing about photography with Christian schools, at least the ones that I've been to, and I've been to a few. They will either do only students that are buying their pictures, or they will only do retakes for fall, or get new students in that missed their fall pictures because they get a lot of new students in the new year, right? And so I was expecting that kind of day, just an easy, breezy, chill day. And I was partway through setting up when the guy that was working for the school, the maintenance guy, was saying that someone else was coming. And I was like, well, not that I'm aware of. I don't know why anybody else would be coming. I don't know why we need another person. And my coworker shows up and he seems confused. I don't know. I was confused. I'm like, well, what are you doing here? Because like, why would we need two people? It's going to be such a small job. And he was like, I was supposed to be here. And apparently he said 9:30. That photography was going to start at 9:30, even though on my app it said 8:30. And I looked through a few different things in the app. I'm not really sure where he saw 9:30. He might have gotten confused with another day. But the point is that he did not start setting up at first, and I didn't know what was going on. The maintenance guy was kind of confusing me because he didn't know what was going on, but he was like saying, talking about group photography, and I was like, well, I don't have any group photography equipment, all these different things. And that's why it was like a little bit of a mess, but I took on the first few classes by myself because my coworker had to set up, and of course I freaking nailed it, dude. Like, shit, I'm fast. I'm not saying that I want them to do this to me, but I could have easily taken care of that whole school by myself. Okay, maybe not easily, all right, but I could have done it. My ribs still hurt a little bit, and setting up, it was like really, I got through the day. And tomorrow, I am going out to a place called Washington, not Washington, D.C., but it's called Washington. It's not the school name. It's like the county or city or whatever the hell. But it's kind of way out of the way. And the thing with spring pictures is that I'll say like 95% of the schools we do for spring are elementary schools. And they just bring all the kids up and they all get their picture taken. Because parents are more likely going to buy their students' pictures when they're little itty bitty cute baby kids. So we get a lot of elementary schools. Now, there are a lot of schools, way more than you'd expect. And there's like even more elementary schools. It's crazy. It's so many. But there's also still like a limited number of them. So sometimes you kind of got to drive way out of your way. And even in the fall, sometimes it happens. But they try to keep people close-ish, as close as, or they try to give people schools that will give them enough hours. Because we get paid for drive time. That kind of counts as us being on the job. So I'm kind of going way out of my way. Now, in fact, last spring, I drove to a school that was the farthest I had ever driven for a school, and it was an hour and 35 minutes without traffic. It was in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Maryland, way out there in the east, and that was quite the experience. In fact, the other photographers that were there, one of them was like only 45 minutes away, and the other one was like an hour, but I was an hour and a half. That school was, honestly, my own impatience is kind of what gets me in trouble sometimes. It is what it is. My GPS is in a tiny little corner. Once I get to like the main highway, I'll be good. Like, I won't need it to get home. But until then, man, I really wish I had taken a shower last night. I meant to, and then I didn't. But I'm glad today's a half day. That gives me more time to play On Your Tail, which is the game that has massive patch coming, and it's like a 5 gig patch. It's really big, and I'm very much looking forward to it, right? Yeah, we're going south. And then we're gonna hit up the other interstate, and then I'm just gonna shoot home. I am a little concerned, not that it's like anything I can do about it, but going through the area that I'm about to go through, like we're getting to like the lunch rush. We're getting to noon. And so everyone's gonna be running out for lunch, and that's just gonna, it's like already like constant traffic up here, but it's even more traffic. Like it's so crazy. It will take you like 30 minutes to drive like 10 miles. It's nuts. So many people live up this way. And I grew up in an area where, yeah, it was a decent amount of people, but like not like this. This is nuts. I kind of miss the quiet. And if I could get a job back down there, if I can find a place that I could afford to live, it's so goddamn expensive everywhere. I would definitely want to move back down because, God, there's a lot of cool stuff up here. Don't get me wrong, but I just end up sitting in my room most of the time anyway. So it's like, what the hell? I just like the quiet, the ambience of Central Virginia rather than Northern. But it is what it is. Okay, I guess I am going north. I would have gone south, and that little maneuver would have cost me 51 years. The space we were set up in was like really small today. I tried to be like, hey, is there like another space maybe next time that we can set up? Like there was a larger space just like a couple of feet away. They were like, well, there's no plugs down there. And I was like, oh, well. I have a weird sense of direction. Whenever I think like, oh, I went north. No, I actually went south. So now I gotta go north to get to where I'm going. I am hungry though. I do pack my lunch. Even though we were gonna be getting off before lunch, I always pack my lunch. Like you never know. You never know. I always come prepared. And it is great to be prepared, I'll tell you what. So yeah, today was kind of an easy breezy day. Probably the hardest part is dealing with traffic, and that's okay. We shall see what tomorrow brings. So far this season has been pretty good, or maybe I'm just really getting used to the bullshit. I don't know. And the schools and stuff have kind of been mainly on point. There was a little bit of a kerfuffle with the first school that I ended up going to. At first they told us we could keep our equipment up, but then like right at the end of the day they're like, oh sorry, you got to take your equipment down and move it somewhere else. I was like, god damn it, dude. It only takes like 20 minutes or something to take all of it down, but you know what takes less than 20 minutes? Just leaving it all up and going home. But the school was like fine. That was also another school that was kind of a short day on, because they only had 2 grades there. Tomorrow is going to be a full-fledged elementary school. And then at the end of this week, I'm going to a middle school, which I know I said 95% of schools. Well, this is the 5%. They also have this really awesome thing called an invite. You know what? I'll talk about that when we get there. How about that? But for now, I'm going to go home. I'm going to eat my lunch, and I'm going to hope that patches out. They said it was going to be like middle European time, and I don't know what that means. Like afternoon, middle Europe time, whatever. I'm a dumb American. It was supposed to come out a few weeks ago, and they kept pushing it back. But it's going to be a big patch, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to getting back into speed running again, and that'll give me something to do. On top of the writing that I want to still do, like shit, I got so many ideas. I'm like popping off recently. Anyway, I guess it's all for now. I will talk to you guys later, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay active.